In this video, we are going to talk about different classes of numbers. So to start off, I'm just going to draw a number line. So this is a basic number line. And then let's say you have 0 here, and then you have 1, and then you have 2, and then you have 3. And then on the left side, you have the negatives. So this is -1, -2, and then like that until you get negative infinity, and for this side until you get positive infinity. Okay, so when you're talking about different classes of numbers, one of the first class that might come to your mind is natural numbers. So natural numbers are simply positive whole numbers. Okay, so positive whole numbers are natural numbers. So something like, say, 1 or 2 or 3 is a natural number. But numbers like -1, -2 are not natural numbers. These are not natural numbers, but these are natural numbers. And if you have something like, say, 1.3 or so, this is not a natural number. The number would have to be whole to be a natural number, and it would have to be positive to be a natural number. So in set formats, you can say natural numbers can be given as n is equal to all numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so all whole numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on to positive infinity. So these are natural numbers. The next class of numbers that we have is integer class. Integers are positive and negative whole numbers. The numbers that are integers are, so you have -1 is an integer, 1 is also an integer, 3 is an integer. So your number would have to be whole and positive or negative, or positive and negative for it to be an integer. Okay, so let's clean up space. So far we've talked about natural numbers as a class of numbers, and then we've talked about integers. So for natural number, we said the set can be given as all numbers from 1, 2, 3, and then on like that till positive infinity, right? And then for integers, we said these are negative and positive numbers. So integers are simply can be given as z is equal to your negative infinity numbers, okay, and then on to, let's say, -1, -2, and then you have zeros and 1 and 2, okay, on to positive infinity. So all natural numbers are integers, but not all integers are natural numbers. So you can say in set format, you can say all natural numbers can be seen as a subset of z. Okay, so all natural numbers are still integers, but not all integers are natural numbers. So for the third form of numbers, for the third class of numbers, we have rational numbers. So for rational numbers are numbers that can be expressed in terms of fractions. So if I have 2, I can express 2 as a fraction. So this would be 2/1. Or if I have 10, if I have 15.5, I can express this as a fraction. This can be seen as 31 divided by 2. So for all numbers that can be expressed as a fraction, they are called rational numbers, okay? And it is often denoted by the letter Q, right? So if you can express a number as a fraction or a ratio, you refer to that number as a rational number, okay? So another thing, let's clean up space. So another thing I would like you to know is that just like all natural numbers are under integers. All integers are also under all rational numbers. So all integers are rational number and all natural numbers are rational numbers. Okay, so talking about rational numbers, we want to talk about irrational numbers. So irrational numbers are often denoted by Q prime. Okay, so irrational numbers are numbers that cannot be expressed as a fraction, or you cannot get the exact fraction. So numbers like that are things like pi, okay, and then things like exponential, 2, exponential x values. You can express them as a fraction or a ratio. Okay, so irrational numbers are numbers that are simply not rational numbers. Okay, so you cannot express them as a ratio or a fraction. So this is, let's say square root of 2 is also an irrational number. Okay, so talking of irrational numbers and rational numbers, we also have numbers that are termed real numbers, often denoted by R in this form. Okay, so it is often denoted by R. A real numbers is simply given as R. R is often said to be a union of Q and Q prime. So joining all numbers that can have a ratio and those numbers that cannot have a ratio together, you have a real number. Okay, so a real number is basically every number that we know on the number line can be seen. Every number that can be attained from our number line is a real number. So a real number consists of all the normal numbers we know. Okay, so last but not the least, let's talk about, and the last but not the least, the number we have is a complex number. Is a complex number, and it is often denoted by C. Okay, so a complex number is simply a number. Complex number is simply a number that can be expressed as x plus I y. So this part of the complex number is the real part. So it consists of real numbers, right? Real numbers, and then this part is the imaginary part of the complex number. Imaginary part of the complex number. Looking at the real and imaginary parts of the complex number, there's a relationship between all classes of numbers. You can express it that all natural numbers falls under integers, and then all integers falls under rational numbers, and then all rational numbers falls under real numbers, and then all real numbers fall under complex numbers. This C for complex, and then this subsets, it simply means subsets. So this is simply the relationship between all different classes of numbers. So let me give you a table for you to understand. Let me give you a diagram for you to understand more of how these numbers relate to each other. So this is simply a table to show how these numbers, these different classes of numbers relate to each other. So you have a complex numbers, and then under all complex numbers, you have real numbers. And the real numbers are divided into two. We have the rational numbers and the irrational numbers. And then under rational numbers, you have integers, and under integers, you have natural numbers. So that's simply how to classify different classes of numbers. So if you like this video, leave a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.